Now, at some point in our hospital stay, we do need a bit of guidance. And when I mean a bit of guidance, I'm not meaning medical guidance. Sometimes we need spiritual guidance, even religious guidance. Well, there is a service in the hospital that allows you to have that guidance, or even if you're not religious, have a second pair of ears that are willing to care and listen. Mark Evans from the, let me get this right, it's the Chapel Sanctuary in the Queen Margaret Hospital.
Well, that's where we're based. Our title is Department of Spiritual Care, which replaced chaplaincy in NHS Scotland hospitals about 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
So we're a recognised department now within the hospital and within NHS Fife.
Now, I've been reading some of the pamphlets here, and I'm just reading, this is the one I'm reading of the second paragraph of the Safe Place. Feel free to close the doors, change the lighting levels, or rearrange the furniture if it feels more comfortable. This has got to be the first place that is very spiritual that I'd ever known that you can actually get comfy in. So it's a really comfortable atmosphere. Is it really a place for reflection, isn't it?
Yeah. When the hospital was first set up, every hospital had a chapel, which was basically a very poor copy of a wee church. And when the department was set up, because of our aims and our objectives changed, we felt we needed somewhere which was very different from the rest of the hospital. So that's why we've changed the name from Chapel to Chapel Sanctuary, to try and convey the fact that it's for people who have a religious faith, but also just for people who maybe have no faith or are unsure about their faith, or who just want time out for a busy acute hospital. So it's very different from the rest of the hospital. The colour schemes are different, the art's different, the furniture's different, and we really encourage people to just use it as they see fit.
And with you mentioning the multiple faiths, you don't just represent the Roman Catholic and Protestant Church, obviously.
No, we provide a range of resources in the space, from Roman Catholic material, Christian material. We provide material for Muslims to pray, prayer mats, copies of the Quran, but we also provide stuff for humanists, and really just for a safe place that people can go and be themselves, just escape from the worry and the concerns of being in hospital.
And the chapel sanctuary is not just a place for the patients, is it?
No, it's used by staff, it's used by visitors, it's used by a whole variety of people. We have people from the community who come in just to use the space, and it's used for a variety of purposes. For example, some of our Muslim staff use it for midday prayers. Some Christian staff use it for rosaries or saying their prayers during high days and holidays. Some people come to have their coffee and to read the paper. Some people just come to have a sit and to have a 10-minute break over the lunchtime.
Is there any other services that the Chapel Sanctuary does?
We provide acts of Christian worship, and at what we call the main feast days. So Christmas, Easter, we would organise services for patients and staff, for those who feel that these specific festivals are important to them. We also use the sanctuary for baby blessings, for weddings, for memorial services. So where there's been perhaps a member of staff who's died and all the staff can't get to the funeral, we would hold maybe a week after the funeral a service of remembrance and thanksgiving in the chapel sanctuary. We would use it for times of reflection. We use it with some of the bereavement groups that happen in the hospital, that we have a time of memorial services. So really it's used for quite a variety of things. During Ramadan we provide special facilities for Muslim patients and Muslim staff, washing facility, absolution facilities, prayer mats. So it's a very adaptable and flexible space. And
with doing all these services, you extend your services to the charity SANS. Now, what services do you provide in cooperation with them?
We work very closely with SANS. We do, as a department, we now do a lot of training. We have quite a major responsibility for bereavement care, and how, as an organisation, how do we treat relatives who are bereaved, how do we treat the dying person, how do we treat the dead person, about, treating such situation with tact, with sensitivity, with dignity, with respect. So we're involved in training staff for that, but we're also involved with supporting staff. So with SANS, we do a lot about baby deaths, baby supporting parents. We would provide, at the time when baby is ill, or shortly after baby's died, we will often provide a naming ceremony or a blessing ceremony or even baptism if the parents request that. We will often be involved afterwards with helping the parents plan the funeral. We might not do the funeral, but we will always help the parents plan it. And then with SANS, we provide a variety of support for parents following the death. SANS provides the majority of support, but we sometimes help SANS through that and with that. And 3 times a year we hold memorial services with SANS for those parents who have lost a baby.
Do you also work with any other charities other than SANS?
Part of our role as a department is to build relationships with what's called the third sector. So we seek to build lots of working relationships with charities, local groups. So, for example, we would maybe work with Maggie's Centre. We provide, or we work in partnership with CHAS, the Children's Hospice based at Kinross. We would try and maintain and develop good working relationships with faith groups and belief groups in the community. And it's really about developing what we see as a mutual NHS. So, the NHS isn't just here for the community and for society. Community and society are the NHS. And it's about fostering those relationships and how do we work better together.
Where can we find the chapel if we ever need to go and use it? The
chapel is down on the level 1. If you come through main reception or you come through past the shop and the coffee shop, come into the hospital, you'll be in front of the main staircase and you just turn right and it's first left. If people want to see a chaplain, there's a chaplain on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and they just have to ask the nurses to contact the department. And they'll either phone us, office out hours, they'll put out an emergency page, and we try to respond within an hour.
How else can we find out more about the chapel if we need to use that?
There's a number of leaflets about the department and the chapel sanctuary down in the department. And you can also find us on NHS Fife's internet site.
And even if you don't need the religious guidance, just go there to rearrange the furniture and just change the lighting and everything else, and just make you feel at home. Yeah. So, Mark Evans, thank you very much for coming on the Friday Night Lounge.